So today then, we start talking about gender and sexuality. These things do kind of go hand in hand somewhat, but this book is laid out a little bit better than the old book we used in this class, which talked about gender by itself and then family and sexuality. But still, there's enough material here that I'm going to kind of cut this chapter into two sections. We're going to talk about gender first, and then we're going to shift over to sexuality, which means we have two separate introductions. And today we begin with our introductory material talking about gender. So, I have a different collection of clips. Some of them are student presentations I found online. I don't know the students. I just randomly found them. And a couple of them are other little things that I've randomly found online that I'm going to ask you to comment on. The first is a student presentation that is trying to determine what people think masculinity is. And they ask the questions in a very, very odd way. The way they ended up phrasing them is, according to our society, how do you know you're a man? And then, how do you feel masculine? I kind of think a better way to phrase that first question would be, is what does society tell you about being a man? But it's still kind of right. It's just an awkward phrasing. So let's see what they get. They ask both men and women what masculinity is to them.
And what kinds of things do you do? What do you do to make yourself feel like a man?
Just relaxing with other guys, I guess, is the
Cool. What you accomplish? And what kind of things do you do to make yourself feel masculine?
give birth,
Work
out,
Work out?
hang out with other guys.
Okay.
What would your definition be of masculinity?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Me personally, I feel like a man, there's a lot of things that ring true about our typical definitions, and then there's, of course, a lot of things that are, I guess, damaging. But a male, rather than our typical view that men should not display emotions and things like that, it's more like,
Otherwise known as thinking too hard about the question.
Have the strength to display, but also the maturity to, restrain themselves in certain situations. But then again, I feel like most of the things that I would say about masculinity, I would probably say about good femininity as well. But so I think the thing that sets them apart, I guess, is the expectation that a man has stronger physically right off the bat. Maybe there's a few women out there that are stronger than the average man, but
Yeah.
I can show you, but I think that's a weird.
Okay, what kind of things do you do to feel masculine?
I use the restroom standing up.
Okay.
Well, anatomy, really a lot of it, just, really it's not, like, it's just knowing who I am and knowing that being a man is central to that.
Otherwise known as the cop-out answer.
Because
You lead? Okay. What kind of things do you do to make yourself feel masculine?
play sports, do physical activity, work harder.
Okay.
I find that, there's an opportunity to do something difficult, like moving refrigerators or something like this, cutting down trees, something like that, burning large piles of brush, something like that, even if it's hard work, I enjoy doing it just because it's difficult.
society, how do you know you're a man?
I don't know, man. Resources, for one, like, I feel like providing for my significant other.
Okay.
And up until recent modern times, it's usually been that the male provides for the family, so I guess that'll be closest.
Okay.
Well, how about anytime I'm on marriage? Right now. That's for sure.
That's for true.
I think I'm not sure if I separate being masculine from being human when I'm doing it. In retrospect, I think, anytime I can affect positive change, I feel good about myself as a person, much less as a human. So
Okay.
I think that's probably my biggest goal in being masculine or being human is to affect positive change.
Okay.
I guess I would say someone that is attracted to females, opposite sex, someone that is strong and kind of like the more dominant one.
Or because my friend loves things that I enjoy doing that I won't do none things that sort of got me a lot of them. Second was that's fair enough. So came here to we did all the backpacking kind of stuff with that. So I used to think all that was mostly male activity, and then my wife really likes doing all this stuff, so that kind of ruined that.
And he's in super trouble if his wife ever sees this.
Things like hunting and fishing and
I'm attacking the kitty.
Because stand up for MVP. Because that's a good age now.
That's a good one. Okay, great. What kind of activities do you do when you're feeling like I'm being masculine, I'm being a man?
I guess basketball stuff.
It's one of my first people to do. Like girls. And it's just like the guy thing. Like I like to go hunting or something, and end up like
Yeah. Okay.
I read the science books. I saw the pictures.
What sorts of things do you do to feel masculine?
I think if I was younger, I probably would feel more differently. Now, I don't think so much about. I don't feel the need to prove my masculinity. I'm not like one of these macho guys. I don't smash beer cans on my head and stuff like that. I think a lot of with men, a lot of their self-esteem is comes from their careers, those types of things.
Okay. All right, so let's look at a few of these. According to the people in the video, these are characteristics of masculinity to them. Meaning, if you do these things, that means you are masculine. Okay? So let's see what we think about these things. Is one's career a sign of masculinity? Can be, potentially. Okay. What if you are a woman working a quote-unquote man's job? Are you now masculine? Maybe. We going to leave career as a sign of masculinity, or is it something that we maybe want to challenge? Okay. How about relaxing with other guys? If you relax with other guys, you are now masculine. You want to challenge that one? Why do you want to challenge that one?
I just don't feel real strong to that particular one.
Okay. How about one's accomplishments or accomplishing something makes one masculine?
Well, it depends on what you're accomplishing. Is it a triathlon? Or is it a great...
So, women that run the triathlon are...
Some of them are masculine.
Okay. Well, and the flip of the coin of this is if we consider something to be masculine, that means it's not feminine also. So, one's accomplishments.
I think we need to define masculinity though.
That's what they're doing. To them, this is definitive of masculinity.
It's characteristics though. Like,
the question they were asked is what makes you feel masculine? And this is what they came up with. One's accomplishments. Are they a masculine thing? So I will underline it as a maybe it's not definitive enough to fully challenge. How about working hard or working out? Is that a masculine activity?
Well, I would have said yes, but you said on the flip side, about the feminine.
So yeah, that's what they're saying. Working out is a masculine activity. So women, if you work out, you're masculine. Or if you work hard, you're masculine. It is not a feminine characteristic. It's not feminine to work hard. Are we comfortable with that?
when it says work hard, I'm picturing you talking about like outside digging ditches or that kind of thing.
He didn't necessarily specify. He first said just working hard, working out, any type of hard work. And then he said, and then like if there's something like moving a refrigerator, which I also have up here, so let's jump over there. Moving a refrigerator, is that a masculine thing to do? Does it make you masculine?
No.
Does it make you feel manly?
No, it made me feel weak.
Moving a refrigerator, do we want to challenge, or are we comfortable leaving that up there as a masculine characteristic? Okay. Using the restroom standing up. Is that something masculine?
Yeah.
No, I know women that can.
Yeah. Whether it's, I don't want to touch this toilet seat, so I'm going to hover, or, other type of situations. But it's possible. Is that possibility enough to make it not masculine?
No.
So we're comfortable using the restroom standing up as a masculine thing. Okay? How about leading? I lead is what he said. Is that a masculine characteristic? Meaning it is not feminine if you are a leader.
That's kind of where the women's statement for wear the pants kind of thing goes in. Wear the pants. Like I'm leading.
Okay, so is that a challenge, or are we going to leave it up there as masculine? Okay. And he said, "Roar!"
No.
That was sort of his lack of actually being able to articulate, I think, but he was, roar! Is that a masculine thing?
No, it's not a woman who we are.
Okay. Something that was said on both of these lists, liking girls. Is liking girls a masculine characteristic?
No. Some of the most manly people I know are gay as can be.
Okay.
Bears exist.
Okay. We're going to challenge that. To playing sports. Are they masculine? Providing for one's family is a masculine trait. That one was almost immediate, okay. Affecting positive change, is that a masculine trait?
I like that one though.
It doesn't mean that men can't do it if we're not saying that it's not a masculine trait. It's just saying it's not exclusively a masculine trait. Going hunting or fishing, is that a masculine trait? No. Smashing beer cans on one's forehead.
Yes, because there's women that would do that.
No, if hunting and fishing is not masculine, then everything is unisex now.
Okay, I'm going to say that this one is still being debated.
Because I've seen women smash beer cans.
Well, then there was that one woman that does it with like her shoulder blades. And, oh yeah, it was somewhat disturbing, but hey. Physical strength, is that a masculine characteristic? yes, no.
Is it
I'm hearing
I
both.
feel like they were talking about physical strength.
The girl that talked for 2 hours at one point mentions emotional strength. But in the end she says, well, they're physically stronger. And then I have times 2 because the other girl also came up and said, yeah, they're physically stronger. So that's the one I'm going with. So physical strength, is that a masculine characteristic?
I would agree, just because it's more so than women are.
Okay, because it's sort of like a statistical trend maybe?
Right, I mean, some women may be stronger than men, but for the most part, they do.
And if you think of like women who are physically stronger than men, you call them boss or butcher.
Those bodybuilders, ladies that are
Okay, so I hope, oops, wrong color. All right, being the dominant one, masculine trait. And I'm not going to elaborate. You can take that however you want. I think in her, she was still talking about a strength type thing. But being the dominant one, is that masculinity?
Yes.
I'm hearing one yes.
Yeah.
We need more context.
Yeah.
More context to get fun.
And I think it depends, like, it varies individual to individual. Like, I know in my relationship, my husband is definitely the dominant one.
Okay.
Is being masculine for a woman like a bad thing?
Generally, when we talk about masculinity, it's the things that men do, or the things that make them men. When we talk about femininity, these are the things that women do, or the things that make them women. So if we're calling something a masculine trait, that means if you are a man, you do this. If you are a woman, you do not, or it is inappropriate for you to do it. These are the sort of social ideas of masculinity and femininity. Masculinity is appropriate for men and is inappropriate for women. Femininity is appropriate for women and is inappropriate for men. So in that context, being dominant, is that a masculine thing?
I mean, to look at it from the side of I lead, that could be the same as dominance, or being dominant. And females are in power.
So challenging, or is this going to be another sort of split vote, maybe? Well, the women in the room are like, yes, we're going to challenge that.
Pretty much everything has to be challenged because you can't say that women can't do it.
I'm going to put it in the we can't really decide category. So far, the ones that have not been challenged at all are using the restroom standing up. All right.
Technically, women can do.
Which technically women can do, but the impression I got from the room is that was kind of let's not go there sort of thing. So you're going to leave that for the men. All right. So let's try this again in a slightly different way. This is another student presentation that is asking both guys and girls to talk about general perceptions of men and women. So we're going to be looking at some characteristics of men and some supposed characteristics of women.
General stereotypes in guys and girls are very common in high schools.
Well, I think as far as stereotypes goes, like the most common ones are how there's women go make me a sandwich.
It's really degrading. Like, just because I'm a woman doesn't mean I can make a sandwich any better than you can. I mean, come on.
That women are supposed to be more domestic than men. And I guess I feel like it's kind of like because the women are the ones that are having the children, that I guess they should be the ones to take care of the children because they get that, plastic hormones and stuff.
And then the mom's supposed to raise the children, stay at home and cook and make sandwiches or whatever.
Girls that play water polo are, generalized as these big, beastly women that are huge and scary. And it's that's not true. I play water polo, but I'm not big and beastly and scary. I don't think.
Whereas girls are stereotyped as having a trillion or something like that. Which is also ridiculous too, because some of them could actually be really poor people that don't have very many emotions. So I think this whole thing where boys have 3 emotions and girls have 3 trillion emotions is kind of ridiculous. So pretty much,
women were created to serve men, and that's all they should do. From the kitchen to the bedroom, and then back to the kitchen. That's it.
I would like it better when girls take 4 hours to get ready, boys take 30 seconds. And I mean, a lot of the time that's true, but like, there's also times when I don't take long for my friends to get ready, and vice versa.
I guess guys are like supposed to be like the big manly like football players.
And men, ooh, look, the sports game is on.
Even if she works too, she still has to, when she comes home, take care of the kid. Where while the dad just kind of like venues out and watches TV or something. But I don't think that's quite right. I think both parents should be involved in raising the children.
Oh, okay. Another stupid thing is that, like, when a girl does something, like the stupid standards that are set for guys. Like, if a guy goes on a date with one girl one night and, like, the next girl, like, another girl the next night, then it's totally fine. If a girl does the same thing, she's labeled, like, a slut or a tramp. And it's totally stupid because that's a double standard. And ladies don't like double standards. I mean, they're boys. Why would you do that? What makes a guy any more special that he should get that special treatment?
Boys are supposed to have like no range of emotions. Like they're supposed to be just this like either you're mad, you're happy, or like one other emotion. Boys get to have 3 emotions, and I think that's ridiculous.
And if you on men, why more than women? I was like, that is so true.
Sports, barbecue. Like, I just think that's ridiculous. Like,
Alright. Most people think that making stereotypical jokes are funny, and usually they are.
I mean, it's kind of funny every once in a while. It's like a girl who's really annoying.
What if they would have to be? Like, what if guys don't have to be that big, manly, like, football players? Can't guys just be like everybody else or not have to be lumped into, like, playing sports?
where did that even come from? Like, times have changed. People need to realize like stereotypes aren't the same way that they are anymore.
Regardless of whether a stereotype is harmful to someone's opinion, it still is a constitutional right, regardless of whether it's morally right or not.
Apparently missed that day of government, where stereotypes are constitutionally protected.
I don't know, I just think stereotypes are obnoxious.
Okay, let's look at these lists. Do we think it is true, a characteristic, that men have 3 emotions and women have like 3 trillion emotions? I'm seeing some nods and some oh no's. So, what are we thinking? Men have 3 emotions, women have 3 trillion.
I think it's more they both have the same emotions, but women are more willing to show them the truth.
Okay.
Because the stereotype that men shouldn't cry and shouldn't have more than one emotion.
Okay.
Not because they don't have the capability to do that.
Okay, so.
Around my house, it's half a matter pissed. My husband's
Happy. I guess mad is sort of the mild one and the pissed. Okay. How about guys take 30 seconds to get ready, girls take 4 hours to get ready?
No. I'll be waiting 3 hours for my boyfriend to get ready. He'll be like, I'm getting in the shower. What do you have to do in there? And then put clothes on. He's like, I have to pick my clothes out and then fix mine like you had no hair to fix. And then I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, let's go. Been ready to 2 hours. We've been late for everything because of him. So that's a lot.
So what you do then is if you want to be somewhere at 2
I tell
o'clock,
him,
you
I'm
tell him
like,
you know,
we need
we're
to
going to be
be
there at
here
noon.
2 hours. I tell him 2 hours before he'll get there, and I'm like, we have plenty of time. He's like, but it's, I'm like, no.
Okay, so this one is controversial too then, so we won't necessarily strike it out. The next one I don't know how to characterize, but she said they have to be these manly men. So it is a characteristic that all men are manly men, whatever she means by that, by dropping her tone 3 octaves. Or is that one just too esoteric for us to talk about right now? Alright, so we'll leave it alone. The next thing on the list then is sports. And I guess we interpret that as being crazy about sports. Is that a characteristic of guys?
I don't know, my favorite person growing up over football season. And it's all guys.
We're talking about every man on earth.
If they're up here, then this is what it means to be a man. If you are a man, you do these things. And then vice versa, if you're a woman, you do those things. We're going to challenge sports. What they were talking about is a potential maybe double standard. If a guy goes out and, I'm going to say, gets his jollies around town, he's a player, but if a girl does the same thing, she's a slut. I'm seeing some yeses. Is that a yes, we think this is the way it is, or maybe that's what happens to people that do this?
No, it's don't.
I think they're both sluts. But it is true that most of the time the guy is called a player. That doesn't mean that they are.
The only other term I can think for a guy is man whore.
Okay.
Concubine is also
If we're talking about Japanese kabuki theater,
right.
You know, in like the Asian world, perhaps.
There's a whole stereotype, he's high five for it, or she's more occupied for it, you know.
It's like, man, you gotta lay together. And I'm like, you did.
Right.
Okay.
But
So I will put this one somewhere in the in-between because we're acknowledging a double standard for the same behavior. Put it that way. Guys lie.
Women lie.
Okay, here's the thing about that. Guys lie and women lie, but guys get caught. Women don't get caught, and that's why they say they don't lie.
Women are more deviant.
Yes. They're more crafty about it.
yes, we're
Women can't lie to save lives, I mean.
Yeah.
My husband never gets away with anything. Oh no, I'm not drunk. I've only had 6 beers.
So apparently at some point we need to take a guy to say side and either say, look, you can't lie for shit, don't try it, or teach you how to lie in theory. Okay, so I'll put that somewhere in the middle ground. How about woman, go make me a sandwich?
That is, but I've never had that.
I'm doing a pretty awesome sandwich.
My husband
And
does
my
most of the
husband
cooking in the
can't.
house.
As do I.
My husband burns everything. Like, he can turn the stove on and it burns. It's awful.
Okay.
He can't cook to save his life.
So I guess
I'll make the sandwich.
we'll put that in the middle ground for maybe there is something about the ability to make a sandwich, but you might have some issues with the ordering to do so. All right. Women are more domestic, and it's their job to raise the children.
And women are more nurturing, which makes them more domestically inclined. That doesn't mean that women cannot like to stay home dad side either and take care of the kids while I work. These morning with the doctor appointments, what they were, well, you knew what was going on what I did. And so maybe can, but women are stereotyped into that domestic role because it's more.
I'm a really traditional marriage. My husband never remembers any of that. If he stayed home with our kids, it would not be a lie. It would be I've left him with the kids like 3 times, and it ended up terrible every single time.
Is it like that commercial where the kids and dad are Skyping mommy, and they only have the one little clear window behind them?
Let me talk to Eli. He's sleeping. I can hear him in the background. Put the scissors down. Don't cut your mother's hair.
Although, I'm going to pick on you for a second, Emily. You started with saying they're more nurturing, so they get this stereotype of being the one to raise the kids. So you're saying that it is a natural characteristic that women are more nurturing than men?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone agree or disagree with that?
I think it's because of the fact that we carry the children. I think, you know what I mean?
I think she has an anatomical point, but I do believe that all of these stereotypes are never true all the time,
Right.
everywhere. None of this is just for fact.
I mean, some of them aren't nurturing at all, but.
I guess I'll put it in the middle ground too. The next one on the list was women are meant to serve men.
Serve?
Yes, the women were created to serve men from the kitchen to the bedroom. And back to the kitchen. That's what he said. A sandwich. Sandwich in one hand and it comes with a look on the other, apparently. And it gets even weirder if you put those two hands together. That's what he said. Guys are very, very quiet.
We're outnumbered, so there's not much. I'm really trying to.
We do have campus security now, so if it gets too out of control, I can make a phone call.
He doesn't answer his phone.
Oh, see, I've never tried, so.
The lady at the front desk called him like 6 different times to see if he found my debit card, and he didn't answer any of those 6 times.
So I guess by the men's silence, then they're going to agree with the women that no, that's not the way it is.
It used to be.
Okay.
Things have changed a lot.
Back in the days when you would greet it when a man was greeted at the door with
It used to be, but like, for how long?
Someone watches Batman.
I was saying used to be, but like for how long and at what point? Was it always until like 10 years ago, sir? Like women served men, or is that just the 50s?
Yeah, some of it women started going to the workforce, but that's their training.
Okay.
My views are skewed. I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Well, apparently that's a necessity if you want them to survive.
It is.
So.
It really is. I would never leave my children with my husband.
So, all this stuff that they came up with pretty quickly in both of these videos, right? And we've pretty much challenged everything up here in some form or another. So that begs the question, if on the one hand these things were so easy for them to come up with, and they knew right off the top of their head, but then we sit here and go, well, no, not really. Where do our ideas of gender come from? Then? Is it something that is innate to us where I'm a guy, so I do and like these things, or I'm a girl, so I do and like these things? Or does it come from somewhere else that's not innate? It is sort of a natural thing for guys to be one way, girls to be the other. Or is there somewhere else that this comes from?
I think we kind of get those ideas of they're kind of like little kids.
From parenting.
Okay, parenting I hear is an option. What
There
else?
are like differences between men and women. But I think most of it, as far as this stuff goes, is kind of put on us. Like we're told this is what it looks like.
As society kind of pushes it through like television and stuff like that.
Okay. Anyone disagree? So what I'm hearing then is instead of gender differences, if they exist, they are probably more exaggerated than in reality. And that they're not coming from sort of an innate biological place, but more from social messaging and social pressure. Okay. Let's keep that in mind as we watch this next one. Now, they definitely want you to feel a certain way about this clip because there's some sad, almost make you want to cry music. But look at what they're trying to say and see if you agree with their point or not.
Alright, so how do you feel about the representation of father figures in animated cartoons like, say, King of the Hill, Family Guy, American Dad, Simpsons, stuff like that? I think it's pretty. There's usually only one type of father figure, which is the non-educated kind, where they're not. I actually never really thought about it before, but when you put all those kinds together, like Family Guy and Simpsons and American Dad and all those, they're all not the brightest people.
Oh, John!
And, I don't know, I guess they're, that's really all there is to the character of them, is that they sort of find a way to mess up everything else that's going on.
How do you feel about the portrayal of fatherly figures in animated cartoons like Simpsons, Family Guy, American Dad?
I think that they're all portrayed as kind of idiots, and they're always like the father is always the one messing up, and the mother is the one that comes and helps them out.
You're gonna do the laundry anyway, right? No time to poop. I'll just do it on the way down the stairs.
Is it always just that they're stupid, or is there anything else that makes them?
I think that they're mostly just stupid.
Yeah?
Yeah, just like Peter Griffin's always like doing stupid stuff, and he's always got harebrained schemes, and Homer is just an idiot on The Simpsons.
Oh, a gang.
And I don't think that is necessarily always the case in real life, but I mean it's a comedy show, so.
What do you think the point is?
Male fathers are often, if not always, represented as an idiot in media and cartoons.
And why do they have an issue with this?
Because it's not true in real life. And it
What's,
makes people think
what's
that that's
the sort of implication, I guess, that they're trying to get at? For men, or do you think they have a bigger concern here? Yeah, they're saying that if this is the message we're sending, that this is what fatherhood looks like, that could be potentially damaging. Granted, Family Guy, The Simpsons, American Dad, they're more adult-oriented cartoons, but they're cartoons, so kids watch them. And their concern here is, if you send this message to this generation of children that mom is the one that will fix everything because dad's an idiot, what message does that potentially send? Of course, apparently, based on some of our conversations today, that might be a documentary in some homes. But overall, they're talking about what message does that send. And apparently, the people that created this are concerned about this. Do you think it's something they should be concerned with? Or is it an overreaction?
It can be potentially damaging, mentally, in the long run. Not like for an individual, but as a society, it kind of sets you up for the whole idea that, the woman's supposed to be the domestic one, and the guy's supposed to go out and have a career and be an idiot, hard work, smash beer cans on his head, and the girl's supposed to be at home taking care of the kids, cooking, and cleaning up the mess.
Okay. Any other ideas? What is the impact of this, if there is an impact, and should we be concerned? Potentially. I think that's one of their points, is if this is the messaging we send out there, this might be the idea that at least this generation of young boys watching this have about, oh, so that's what fatherhood's supposed to be like.
How much power does media have on our development as people?
Very good question. In fact, I couldn't have led us into our next clip any better. When it comes to the idea of I'm a boy, this is what boys do, so I should do this because I'm a boy. Or I'm a girl, and this is what girls do, and I should do this because I'm a girl. Around what age do you think these ideas start to solidify in children? I'm hearing 3, I'm hearing 5, 6. Any other ideas? Do we agree with those?
Start together. Let's just say 3 to 6.
So let's just line up the range here to encompass all the answers. We can't be wrong that way. Okay. And then my second question would be, if they have these ideas of, I'm a boy, this is what boys do, so this is what I should do because I'm a boy, and vice versa for girls, where are these ideas coming from? Parents? Let's see what we get when we ask kids.
Children have a strong sense of gender identity and gender role expectations. Most 2-year-olds know with certainty whether they are male or female, and by the age of 4 or 5 begin not only to develop gender constancy, but often show rigid standards for what they believe is appropriate male and female dress and behavior.
Can boys put on dresses? Do girls have short hair or long hair?
Long hair.
Are you a boy or a girl?
A boy.
Are you ever going to be a girl?
No.
What are boys like?
I'm not.
Okay, questions to Are they different than girls? How are they different than girls?
Because they don't put stuff like clothes on.
Boys don't put on girls' clothes?
No.
Can girls put on boys' clothes?
No.
Alexis, are you a boy or a girl?
A girl.
Are you ever going to be a boy?
Mm-mm.
Are you a boy or a girl?
Boy.
Are you ever going to be a girl?
No. Boys are better than girls.
Why?
Because boys are stronger than girls sometimes.
What would happen if you put on a dress?
All the girls and all the boys will laugh at me. So when you look like a boy, that way you look like a girl.
Would it be okay?
No way.
Young children appear to begin to acquire gender role stereotypes at about the same time that they develop gender identity. And by the age of 3 or 4, most children, when asked questions about the activities appropriate for a male doll and a female doll, readily give stereotypic responses.
Which doll likes to clean the house?
This one.
Who takes care of the babies?
This one.
Who goes to work?
This one.
Okay. So most of these kids are around 4 or 5 years old. And it's pretty obvious that they already have some pretty strong ideas about what being a boy means and what being a girl means. For instance, when they were asked what would happen if a boy puts on girls' clothes, what was their answer? They'll get laughed at. You don't do that. That's not good. Boys can't do that. And when they were asked, can a girl put on boys' clothes, what was their answer? No way. That doesn't happen. It's just not right. When they brought the dolls out. Now, if we are talking about the experience of most kids today, is it the experience of most kids today, do you think that one parent stays at home and one parent goes out to work, or both parents go out to work? Yeah, I mean, statistically, the experience of most kids today is that both parents go out to work because it's just harder and harder to make one income work. Now, unless these kids are statistically different and they all have one parent that goes out to work and one stays at home, if their day-to-day experience is both parents are going out to work, Why do you think they consistently said, she takes care of the baby, she likes to do the cleaning, she stays at home, he goes out to work? But when they were asked who goes out to work, they didn't say both of them. They said, he goes out to work.
Well, it said that they start making these stereotypes and developing them when they realize
Where
that
do they come from?
they're different.
Is that something that comes from inside of them? I'm a boy, I'm going to go to work and have a job someday.
I don't know where it comes from.
Where do you think? Is it something that just is encoded into our DNA to think by the age of 4? I'm a boy, I'm going to go to work. She's a girl, she's going to stay home and take care of my kids. Is that something that is like genetically encoded naturally to us that comes out when we realize about age 4?
Also, it comes from parents.
How so, maybe? I mean, if most kids' day-to-day experience is both parents are going out to work, why are they so quick to point to, nope, he's the only one that works?
They have to have seen it from something else.
Where?
The TV?
Potentially. Has anyone read any fairy tales lately? Maybe been around young kids, or maybe just like fairy tales? How do most of our classic fairy tales go? What are most of the girls doing? In a tower, asleep for a long time, wasting away in the basement cleaning because of her ugly stepmother and stepsisters, all that sort of stuff. All waiting to be saved by who? Prince Charming, or the knight in shining armor, or whatever. This is a almost universal theme in most of our fairy tales. The helpless damsel in distress, waiting for the man to come rescue her. Television itself is changing as time goes on, but think just 20 or 30 years ago. How were most families depicted on television?
What man
The Brady Bunch, or even like I Love Lucy, a little bit older, or Leave It to Beaver, all these kind of shows. How was the American family depicted? Man goes to work, woman stays home. And this is changing somewhat. If we are watching television and looking at commercials, if someone is trying to sell cleaning products like Mr. Clean or the scrubbing bubbles or whatever the case may be, who is shown using these things in commercials? It's women. It's almost always women. We very rarely, see the man with the apron on, scrubbing something in these commercials, except for maybe the Swiffer commercials. They usually have a couple doing it. About, oh, how is this so much easier? Even I can do it. Be the man. Woo-hoo. But if we are looking at sort of active, outdoor, powerful stuff, or maybe even commercials about powerful people in business, who do we see there? Men. And the idea is that the media is pervasive. It is very, very hard to get away from these messages. When we were talking about race and ethnicity, and I showed you the Margaret Cho clip, and she was talking about, maybe I could be an extra on MASH, or a hooker in something. What did we say the role of media is in those cases? What is it for children? We said young children sometimes, or most of the time, will watch TV and movies looking for people like them. Why do they do that, and what does television and movies represent for them? It's the first glimpse they have of the rest of the world outside of their house and how the world works. So if most of the messages that they see show the women at home cleaning and the men, out working jobs or playing outside or whatever the case may be, all of our fairy tales are teaching them that women wait in distress waiting for the man to come save them. It's the idea that for little kids, they don't know that these are fairy tales. They don't know that, what they see on TV isn't necessarily representative of the entire world. To them, this is the way the world works and how everything is. And so it talks about the power of the media, the power of socialization. And it actually takes us several years sometimes to sort of break out of these stereotypes, if we ever do, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Okay? For the last clip in this sequence, I want you to pretend If you are or have been a parent of a 10-year-old, it'll be easier for you. But if you haven't been, I want you to pretend that you are a parent of maybe 8 to 10. I don't know how old this kid is. So you're a parent of a boy who is 8 to 10. You come home from work one day, you open the door, and you see what I'm about to show you. I want to know first what your first thought is, and then second, what you actually say or do. Okay? I'm going to pull the sound, but I'll let it keep playing in the background. What's your first thought as a parent walking in and seeing this?
I think he's a fantastic dancer.
Okay.
That was my first thought.
I would compliment his moves. He's even singing along to it a little bit. You can hear it. Do you know how old he is?
I think he's so creative.
My guess is he's about 8.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly don't know, because again, this is a video I found. So I'm hearing fantastic dancer. Any other thoughts? This is the dancing from a Beyonce music video. He's actually doing the moves that Beyonce does in the video. In fact, that's why it was called Too Much Beyonce when I found it on YouTube years ago.
Oh, I think he's incredible.
Any other thoughts?
Deviant.
How so?
He's a boy, and that is what girls do.
Okay. Would anyone have that as one of their first thoughts of, oh my God, what the hell is my son doing?
No, but I also see my 3-year-old doing this all the time. My 3-year-old fucks me, man. He is such. This is just what kids do.
Okay. What do you say or do then?
We usually have a dance off. I'm not gonna lie. Me and my 3-year-old busts it out all the time.
I think we need vids or it didn't happen. You know?
I will take a video because my 3-year-old is hilarious.
There's your extra presentation right there.
Right?
You know?
It probably will be, though, because he'll say let it go and dance to it. Oh my gosh, he is the cutest kid ever. I was the cutest 3-year-old ever.
Any other thoughts about what you say or do to the 8-year-old? Anyone disturbed that it's an 8-year-old dancing this way with these particular moves?
Well, a couple of those moves.
He doesn't say any sexual things. Yeah. To kids, he's just dancing.
I'm not going to argue with that, but the sort of... Yeah, I mean, because the thing is, I guess the question I'm getting at, is it appropriate for an 8-year-old to sort of have the walk, 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 hair flip, you know, against the wall sort of thing down like he does, regardless of what it means to him or not.
I think if it was a girl, there would be a bigger reaction to that.
Okay, how so?
Because it's like if you're teaching a girl that at a younger age,
You're
that's
over
viewed,
sexualized.
yeah, that's viewed as bad.
But it's cool for the boy to do it?
No.
No, not exactly, but I think because it's a boy, people don't view it like that. Like, he's not going to take that seriously, he'll just grow out of it. But a girl would, like, keep on to that.
I think a girl that age is more mature than a boy that age.
But also kind of goes back to the...
I think if the girl was 2 years younger, I wouldn't have thought anything about it. But a 10-year-old girl doing that, that's when I get concerned that things really sexualized.
Is that kind of dancing appropriate for any age, though?
That's kind of what I'm asking.
My mom got pretty mad. My older brother taught my little brother how to twerk. he was
What ages are we talking about here?
Cody's 18 and then Caden's 9. And so he taught him how to twerk, and he was doing it mom that went on. I'm like, he's not even doing anything. He doesn't have a butt to twerk.
Maybe I've been in the whole world of the social scientist for a little too long, but I actually think that's kind of adorable. But, you know.
And he's like the skinniest little thing you've ever seen, so it is hilarious. It looks like he's breaking his hips.
The reason
My 18-year-old brother, he was at prom, and he was twerking, and like, it's not, I don't know.
All right, the reason I asked this, and surprisingly, you're the class that's kind of broken the trend. You've raised an issue that I haven't heard before. But the reason I asked this way is because when I first found this video on YouTube, I don't even remember how I found it. I was probably just losing myself in like hours of being sucked into YouTube and came across it. But when you looked at the comments, and I found it like 3 or 4 years ago, when you looked at the comments, it was very, very obvious fairly quickly which commenters were male and which commenters were female. Why do you think I say that?
The man said it was not right.
In general, from the women commenters, I heard, "Oh my God, what a fantastic dancer! Sign that kid up for dance classes. He's going to be a star someday." What do you think a lot of the men were saying?
Probably thinking he was like, gonna grow up to be gay.
First of all, where the fuck is his father? I would smack the fag right out of that one, etc., 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 etc. It was very, very, very divided. I mean, granted, there were some exceptions where you could say that there's a man saying something the rest of the men are saying, a woman saying something the rest of the women are saying. But in general, it was pretty overwhelmingly split between women thought that was pretty cool, men didn't. And to a certain extent, when I ask my classes about this, it might not be, quite so worded the same way, because, maybe they're in public and not hiding online and don't want to say it, but I do tend to sometimes get a split between how the women react to that and how the men react to that. But you guys didn't.
But also, I think we're all fairly young, and we've been growing up in this generation where we're a lot more open-minded than anybody older than we are.
That is possible too.
Yeah, we're also awesome.
You're just the awesome class. Possible.